the GX Eagle 12 speed. Taking the brake off and gives me access to the GX Eagle shifter. So I'm actually pulling out the cable. I know some people like to run it absolutely dry. Personally, in winter it may not be the right thing, but I use good old GT85, which is a lubricant, penetrant and water displacer, and insert it into the outer cable and squirt it in. I find it works. I think I can get more life out of the outer cable and give it that extra lubrication using the GT85. I'm going to put some of these on. That's the back bit. It looks quite bent, doesn't it? You can see why there's a bit of friction on that bit there. And literally just put that into the end of the cable. Is as it's showing down there, you can just see that cable is getting drenched on the inside. There we go. So GT85 is in there now. Old cable here. That's the Teflon one. I'm just going to chop the end off. It's just a bit frayed. There we go. And what we'll do is just agitate this. Just push it back through like that. And just work my way through. And then I'll go in the other end. This is just cleaning out. It feels really clean inside this lower part of the outer cable though, I've got to be honest. I think what I'll do is squirt a little bit more GT85 in there as well. I'll leave that with the GT85 in there, don't blow it straight out. Just keep it sitting in there and penetrating the inner sheath of the cable. Just removing that. It's two parts on my Rocky Mountain Altitude. I don't know if it's still like that. This is a 2016 model. A bit of a job getting these cable ends off this outer cable. I'm actually starting to think. Oh, there we go. If this is workable. A little turn up. Over time, it's just. There we are. It just took 2 seconds to bend that the other way. There's another little kink there. So again, it's easily manipulated back. This is where it goes through the actual rear mech, so I don't really need to worry about that. But just for getting it through the cable again, I'm just going to straighten these out a little bit. Right, there you go. So I'm gonna put a new one on the end of that. Quick squirt either end with the GT85. There we go. There we go. Let's come out the other end. See the debris in that coming out a bit. Oh. I think it's also a valid argument that reusing whatever you've got with bikes is just reducing the amount of wastage, recycling stuff, and you know, it's less going into landfill. That's the way I look at things as well as helping the pocket. It's just a little bit of a, I just feel it there. I think the front part of this cable is fine. As it comes around to this bit, I can feel there's a little bit of resistance in there. So I'm going to focus on this end here, onto the cloth like that, and then just work your way along the inner cable. Silicone is probably one of the best, but I don't use silicone. I was just finding that it was quite expensive. GT85 you can kind of spray around the bike. I find silicone is quite sticky, so a nightmare of a contaminant anywhere near the brake rotors. Put it over the handlebar of my other bike there. So now I'm going to dig out some replacement cable ends. My old box here. There we go. This is full of cable ends and all sorts in here. Got a whole bag of them. It's great when you find that you've got loads of little parts. Oh, there's loads. It's a plastic one. Personally, I just think because it's cold weather at the moment, it's around freezing, I think the metal may cause more issues. Might be wrong on that, but I can feel the cold of the metal in my hand. First cable end, just threading it up the length of the inner cable. There we go. Yes, that fits in there really nicely. It's not creating too much friction. I can feel it. It's really light. Section of outer cable. Just making sure the inner cable doesn't go on the floor. Cable end on that. Another plastic one. You know, there are certain things I've heard about cables and that, and I haven't tried everything. So if you've got any other ideas, just to share, you might think what I'm doing here is completely wrong. I've also heard of people using Rain-X, you know, the stuff, the hydrophobic liquid that people put on their windscreens. It creates a sort of hydrophobic surface to the cable. Bike lube, chain lube, I personally wouldn't use that. Because it's going to attract dirt. I think whatever you put on there needs to be something that's very sort of thin, which is why I tend to use that, because it's a thin lubricant. Section under here, and that allows all the cables to come through there. It's just like a little piece of aluminium. I also spent hours on my Cube stereo trying to get the cables through the carbon frame. So that's the part on the Rocky Mountain altitude. I'm going to give this a clean actually. So again, I can feel it's a little bit gritty. What I'll do is just clean where the cable ends go in, and get my little bit of inner cable just to agitate the ends. There we go, that is already dirt. GT85. The one side is obviously for the you know, the one hole is for the rear mech cable, but the other hole would have been for the front mech, which I don't have, so I run a 1x GX Eagle system now. And then the big gap in the middle is where the internal routing for the reverb dropper goes. It's just starting to come out there. There it is. Yeah. Small piece of aluminium that allows the cables to guide their way through. So I'll just get this put in as well. Just locate this back up, and that goes in there. Feed this back out. This is the frame, like that. Give this cable another wipe. So I'm just putting the outer cable on the last part of the inner cable running to the rear mech. Cable end is all the way on the outer cable. Just like that. So it's full. Right on the end, outer cable, through some zip ties, and then into the rear mech. There we go. So they're only the small ones, like that. And then using my cable cutters, cut that off. There we are. Okay. Use a cutter. I tend not to pull these too tight because I don't want any pressure or friction on that outer cable. Start changing the gears, you can feel it all working. There we go. This has to go in here. I've got my cable end. I do need to get this working correctly, so I'm going to open up the rear mech. There's a button on the GX Eagle there which you can then do like that, and it means you can access all of this. Straighten out the cable a little bit. Get the cable through the wheel here, and then it has to go into this plastic sort of fin shape. You have to make sure that the cable threads into a channel that then comes out here. So it's a bit fiddly. So yeah, just make sure that that is properly set up. There we are. Cable end covers. Don't press too hard. Little nick is all I do, and then just squash that area down with the tip of the pliers. So I've already set it up before using the white adjust tool. Check up the top of the video here if you want to see how I did that. There we go. The 50 now, and it does, and that is changing without any force at all. It's got a bit of added protection in there from the cables with the GT85.